Are you filming? Hi! I'm back. Our pie dough is in the fridge and I'm counting 5 pounds of apple because we're going to be making a deep dish apple pie. 2.5 pounds of tart apples and 2.5 pounds of sweet apples. So I got a variety. I think I have 3 tart apples. So now I get to peel them and slice them. You're probably not going to watch this part. So there's one peeled apple. I'm being a little indulgent here using 2 different knives. And try to make your slices about the same size. See, we're going to do that 28 more times. So now I'm going to enlist the cameraman to come and help peel some apples. Yeah? Come on, you got a beer. You'll be fine. It's 5 pounds of apple slices along with a lot of peels and cores, and I wish I composted, but I don't, mostly because I don't garden. Alright, so you get a Dutch oven. I hope this one's big enough. Toss in your apples with half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of white sugar, and some lemon zest. I hope I have a lemon. Fun fact that's not so fun, this Tupperware is older than I am. Keeps the brown sugar nice and not clumpy, so I guess it is legit. I have a very sad looking lemon. I hope you can't see it. So you need half a teaspoon of lemon zest, or as much as I can physically get off of this. Okay, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. It's the chunky stuff again. Mostly because I don't know where the kosher salt that's not chunky resides in my household. We have too much salt. The recipe, which I'm going off of, which is Cook's Illustrated, says 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. We're going to start off with 1/4 teaspoon because I like cinnamon. I think we're even going to add more later. This is going to go on the stove. I would go put it on there right now, but then you're going to have another shot of my butt. So I'm going to have the assurance that the camera is not rolling, and then we'll move over there. You didn't press the button. I know you didn't. You didn't. So we made it over to the stovetop, and remember how I didn't have enough zest earlier? Well, I found lemon peel. It's my mother's. This is mine. I don't know why you'd buy a lemon peel. Why not just buy a lemon? Oh, that smells awful. Okay, so we're not going to use the lemon peel. We're going to toss it. And it's Best Buy 2006. Let's toss these together. And you're just trying to distribute the sugar and try not to break. See, yeah, I broke it. Don't break your apples. And the apples are going to release their juices. And that's the aim, because we are trying to get a deep dish apple pie with 5 pounds of apples that don't leave a soggy crust. Cook them down just until they're tender. So we're not even going to cook them down. We're just trying to get them tender. And it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. And I'm going to check up on it periodically. Now, if only my pie dough would warm up a little bit. We're going to roll out the dough. Here's the trick, so you don't have to touch it. Wax paper or parchment paper. And doing it this way means that you don't have to add too much flour. Right in the middle. Another sheet goes on top. You start off with a disc, right? You're trying to make a big round circle that's even. So you roll it out all the way to the back and then twist it 1/4 of a turn. You roll it, twist it. And it's good to check your dough for thickness to see if you have any bits that you're missing somehow that are more thick than other parts. Okay, we're getting somewhere. See, it's starting to peek out of the wax paper. That's usually my cue to start testing it. You just want it to be bigger than your pie dish by a few inches. It's big enough. You take one side off and put the other one. There you go. see who that is. Hello. I think I left the apples on too long. If you take a fork, they are definitely fork tender. Lay them out on a cookie sheet, spread them out evenly, and you're going to cool them off technically to room temperature. I say cool enough to handle. They're really hot right now. At least they're not mush. These apples have been cooling for about 7 minutes, so half of the time suggested. I think they're fine. So we're gonna put them into a colander that is resting over a bowl so that we get out all the juice so that nothing is soggy. See, look at all that juice. Juicy. So I've preheated the oven to 425 degrees. The apples are definitely drained at this point. This cookie sheet is gonna go into the oven as it preheats. That hot sheet is gonna help make sure that the crust doesn't turn soggy while it's cooking. It's kind of like when you bake a Chicago pizza and you bake it in a hot skillet. It just helps to kind of crisp it up at the bottom. Now the recipe tells you to take 1/4 cup of the juice that you've accumulated from your apples and to return that to your pie. No more than 1/4 cup. But I think that's a waste of juice. I mean, look at this stuff, it's amazing. So we're gonna do something that my friend Jeremy has tried and I thought sounded like a fantastic idea. We're gonna cook this down with butter and I think a little more sugar and probably more spices. Now, if I remember from previous recipes with sauce, you don't put butter in at the beginning, you add it at the end to add a creamy texture. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna add a little more sugar so that it'll hopefully caramelize and get thicker, and I'm gonna add about that much, which is what, like 2 tablespoons? But while this simmers down, I'm going to make the crumble topping for the top of the pie. I usually double the recipe when I'm making apple crumble, but since pie has a lot less coverage, we're gonna have it. 1/2 cup of sugar. Gosh, I hope I have enough. We're gonna put oatmeal and my fancy flour. There we go. 1/2 cup of oatmeal, so even ratios. And I'm just gonna finish that off. And an egg. You know what? I think I'm gonna add some salt. And you mix it up. Should I say that again? And you mix it up. Break up that yolk. Just get it well incorporated. It's gonna get clumpy. And that's...
I'm sorry, say all that again.
What? What were you doing?
What?
The oven's ready. Good. We're just about ready too. Well, as soon as that apple juice cooks down. So you just want to mix this up. It's going to be a little clumpy and that's fine. And that's your crumble topping. If you're feeling really fancy, you could add in some chopped nuts. What else could you do? That's all I've got for you right now. Okay, let's check on this juice. I'm going to cook this down until it gets nice and syrupy. I might have to add more sugar. Okay, that's another tablespoon. Smells good. Do you want to see the cat do a trick?
Sure, people are going to appreciate you petting the cat while you're cooking.
The next shot will be me washing my hands really well. What? This is how you wash your hands in a dirty sink. Is this fun now? Okay, check out the syrup. So the apple juice has been on the stove for about 5 minutes maybe. And here, come see. That my paddle is drawing a line down, so I think it's thick enough. And some people are apple purists and want the pie to be about the flavor of the apples. I respect that, but I like cinnamon and nutmeg. We're gonna add more cinnamon and we're gonna add some nutmeg. Maybe some allspice. Depends on what I can find. Nutmeg! It still smells like cinnamon. So we're going to turn off the heat and it's going to settle down. And I'm going to add, well, not quite half a teaspoon. I'm a little afraid. of cinnamon, a few dashes of nutmeg. And it smells great. Now, I'll stir in some butter. Here we go. For some reason, I remember reading that you want to add cold butter. Somehow that makes it maybe silkier. I don't know. Whoops. There we go. That seems about right. So let's say 2 tablespoons of butter. Mix that in, and the residual heat should make that melt. There's nothing wrong in this pot. That's really good. Oven is preheated. It's good to go. My crust that I rolled out for you earlier is in the fridge. So let me pull that out. So here's the crust. I made sure to press it into the edge of the pie shell so that when it's baking, it won't break and try to fall into it. Now we can build our pie. Honestly, I don't know if this pie dish is going to be big enough for everything, because I used a ceramic dish last time, and that was good for a deep dish apple pie, but I don't know about this. You know what? I was totally supposed to crimp this before I put the filling in. The directions for pie making at this part always says fold, under, and crimp, and I had no idea what that meant, and I've tried crimping, I've tried cutting, and they really mean like fold it under so that you get a double thickness. I'm not an expert crimper, so this is kind of how I've been doing it, using my thumb as a guide. That seems to work. Hey, that's not too bad, right? Jeremy suggests doing half of the sauce in the middle and then the other half on top, so I'm gonna do that. Are you seeing how thick this is? That I don't know why you would ever throw that out. Why would Cook's Illustrated want me to throw out that juice? And you're still trying not to destroy the apples, you know. I don't know that these are all gonna fit. Around the edges and in the middle. Clearly this is meant for me. Last step, put the crumble on top. Also, this sauce is pretty sweet, and the crumble topping has the regular amount of sugar that I would put in for a regular crumble, so I don't think it needs all of that sugar. Might have to make this a 4-pound apple pie next time. Now this may be a little obscene, but for my crumble I always top it with melted butter, so I'm going to do that for the pie. 2 tablespoons. There's no goodness left to go into this pie. Time to go in the oven. It's going on the lowest rack on the preheated baking sheet. I forgot the lemon juice. 25 minutes at 425 degrees, and then we're going to knock it back to 375 to bake for another 25 to 30 minutes until it's bubbly and delicious. And then we have to cool it for about 2 hours, but I'll be asleep by then. The oven just beeped, so the apple pie should be done. What about that? Pretty juicy to me. There you go. Prize winning, hopefully, apple pie. You'll have to come back tomorrow and we can cut it.